will discuss race and how it plays a factor, and how we didn't even talk about this topic because we were afraid.
A Black Executive Perspective.
Welcome to BEP Live on a Black Executive Perspective podcast. I'm your host, Tony Tidbit. This is a show where we don't dance around the truth. We dig into the conversations people whisper about, avoiding meetings or flat out refuse to face because comfort has never created change.
And I'm Chris P. Reed, and we're here live to tackle the real, the raw, and the uncomfortable truths that people shy away from. We're going to be here with you tonight to end off this fabulous year and hopefully have some great topics and some great interaction with you, the guests live.
Absolutely. So tonight, we're going to take a step back and talk about the holiday season, right? The traditions that we were raised with, the ones that we still practice, and the family dynamics that actually come along with it, right? So we're looking to have a real conversation about slowing down, managing expectations, protecting your peace, and making sure overall that you enjoy the time that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to this, Tony, because we talked about this before, and you gave me some of your experiences of being all over the world, you know, for the holidays and how your impression of Christmas is and things of that nature. And so I want to get into that along with the audience to see what their impressions are and some of the traditions, like you said, that they grew up with. So,
buddy, kick it off.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So, you know what? You and I had this conversation about it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, right? Like the old song says. And contrary to, you know, the situation, it's going to be 78 degrees in Texas on Christmas. And so I was telling you that my mom, you know, feels like it's just not the Christmas season, or she can't get into the Christmas spirit if she comes here, because we from the Midwest, we Midwesterners. So we have some cold and button up type of Christmases. And you were telling me about your experience in Hawaii, because I don't agree with that edict. But you told me that you was like, man, it just didn't feel the same. Give us a little bit of that when you were away for Christmas for the first time.
Well, number one, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan,
Yes, sir.
in the Midwest, just like you grew up in Peoria,
Right.
Illinois, where your mother is, right? And so I definitely can relate to what she said, because growing up in the Midwest, it's cold, right? It's, Christmas time is in December. The weather is cold, especially when I was a kid. The weather patterns have changed today, but when I was a kid, you would have snow by Thanksgiving. And that snow wouldn't leave until like April, May, or something like that, right? And so, and then let's be fair, all the, every Christmas movie or commercial, Santa is in a sleigh. He ain't in a, SUV, right? He's got reindeer pulling him, right? He don't have, some dogs, pulling them on the beach. Right. And so, there's snow. And so I totally get it. It's just part of the holiday season because it's in the cold weather. But yeah, when I went in the military and I was stationed in Hawaii, and Christmas was 88 degrees or whatever it was at that time. Mm-hmm. I was there for a while. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like Christmas, just because that wasn't tradition that I grew up with. Right. I grew up in the cold weather, right? So I get it. If you grew up in LA or San Diego or, a place where it's been warm all the time. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day, when you grew up in the Midwest or in the North and it's cold, and then you go somewhere where it's warm around Christmas time, it just doesn't feel the same.
So, and it's funny, and I want the, people to chime in on this. Are Christmas feelings, or is the Christmas spirit regional? You know what I mean? Is it a regional thing? Because now, so down here, instead of having snowmen, they have these hay bales, right? These the circular hay bales, and they stack them up, and then they put some stuff on them and a hat on them, and it looked janky to me because I had real snow. But this is what they got, right? They got to make it work, make it do what it do.
I get it, and I'm glad I didn't grow up there, right? At the end of the day, it's snow. Right. You want Christmas is cold weather. Right. I mean, look. Right. I'm only going by my experience, right? Yes, sir. So you're right. If you grow up in Houston, or like I said, San Diego, or somewhere warm, and let's be fair, Christmas is celebrated by Christians all around the world. Right. So it's not just a United States thing. I was chatting with somebody in India the other day, and they were like, "Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year," and they're like, "What are you doing for Christmas?" I'm like, "You guys celebrate Christmas?" Absolutely, man. We got a Christmas tree and 9 yards, right? So it's people all around the world that celebrate Christmas. So I get it that based on your environment, it may not be cold, but if you grow up in an area where it's cold, and that's what you know, that's what you expect, and so any other place outside of that would be different. So now I got two crispy reads on the screen.
Okay.
But it's fine. Two of you is fine.
Hey, yeah,
bro.
double the
It's
pleasure.
all
Is
good.
it saying I'm open twice
Double
in
the
the
pleasure.
platform?
Yeah, you just came up twice,
Okay.
but maybe I'm just seeing
Okay.
that.
Maybe the nog done kicked in. Maybe the nog.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's just my experience, right? And but I respect that from your mother saying that.
You know, the thing about it is, and so obviously everywhere you go, or every place I've been, and I've been to Georgia and obviously Texas and Mississippi and different places, the lights are consistent. People put up Christmas lights everywhere. Now the menus, as I've gotten older, some of the staples of Christmas kind of change. Are you guys mashed potato folks at Christmas? Are you stuffing or are you dressing? What do you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So to be fair, you know, I grew up in Michigan, in Detroit. Listen, let's back up a little bit before I get there, right? Because I want to address something that's not talked about too much regarding Christmas, right? You don't, and when you hear about it or you see it, it's to the side.
Okay.
It's not promoted. It's not in front. In front is, what are you buying?
Right.
In front is Black Friday. In front is Cyber Monday. In front is BMW commercials and perfume commercials and watches and
Coca-Cola
all the things
and
in terms
bears.
of all the stuff in terms of what we call, merchandising. We call capitalism.
Commercialization, yes, sir.
Okay, commercialization,
Yep.
right? And then obviously, Christmas is supposed to be about the birth of Jesus, right? You don't hear about that.
That's correct.
You don't see that,
correct.
right? So that's number one. But then number two, I want to dive into this because a lot of times people assume that everybody, and you just got to talking about, mashed potatoes and turkey and this and that. However, we have to recognize that there's people who won't even have that.
Damn, that's deep.
There's kids that wake up on Christmas Day and won't even have a toy.
Absolutely.
There's families that's under pressure right now. How do I know? Because I grew up that way, right? Christmas wasn't for my mother, who was working 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. She had 4 kids. The pressure, because the world says go out and buy.
That's right. Leverage.
And your ability to buy or not to buy pretty much, I don't want to say dictates, but it says what your success has been that year.
That's correct.
Which it really shouldn't, to be
Absolutely.
fair. Right? And so I remember being a kid and my mother would be depressed because she couldn't buy her kids Christmas gifts or toys. Right? And now you got to recognize, we're talking years ago. So maybe she would have spent, I don't know, $100, $150, maybe $200 for Christmas gifts for her children. Where now it's probably thousands. You can't even buy a good gift.
Swipe it, baby. You can swipe it.
For $100.
We'll figure that out later, right?
All right. Maybe, you can buy a gift. But my point is that, so the expenses, so I just grew up. I know that feeling of, being in that bucket where you don't get a lot.
Right.
And did it really matter? It does matter when the world, right? The world says you're supposed to buy gifts. Right. Here's the kicker. This is the thing that I wanted to bring up. Would it matter as much if this was just an issue with our family? Nah, probably not. But this is where it matters. Typically, you get time off for school. And soon as you go to school after New Year's Day, what's the first thing that your friends asked you?
Absolutely. What did
you get for Christmas?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so when you don't get a lot, I remember I was just making stuff up, lying. Yeah, I got this, I got that. Didn't get nothing. Okay? Didn't get nothing.
Okay.
Right? So Christmas wasn't, Thanksgiving was always a holiday that I really enjoy, and it was my favorite holiday because it was just getting with family, eat. That's where the mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes and Worcester tradition. Christmas dinner, they really, at least for me, right? Now, when I married my wife, Gail, they had the tradition, right? And so she took the Grinch out of me when we started dating, and we moved in together. And she's got trinkets and stuff from her mother and family, all that stuff that we roll out. And our daughters now have grown up with traditions and stuff to that nature, right? Which is a blessing, to be fair, right? They never experienced the Christmases that I experienced, right? And that was on purpose, right? Because God has blessed us and we've been able to do that. But I just wanted to bring that up. There are people who probably listen to this or watching or know people that fall in the other bucket, okay? And we got to look out for them.
Absolutely. We
got to make sure that they're in the forefront versus the BMW commercials and the Mercedes commercials and the Diamond commercials and all these Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And then as soon as after Thursday, you're going to have the after Christmas sale and all these things. And there's a ton of people. All right. And this is not just black. This is a ton of black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian. It don't matter that they don't have the means to buy their kids a gift or their significant other. They're not going to have turkey or ham or the ability to say mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes. They're going to have a hot dog.
That's
Or maybe that. Right? Or they may be in a line to go somewhere else just to get a dinner or to get a food. Right? And then after that day is over, their problems don't go away. All right? See, that's the other thing. The problem, you got the kid that did, but the next day you still broke. Or you still trying to get the rent money. Or you still trying to do all these other things, right? So let's say a prayer for them.
Yes, sir.
Let's open our hearts, and it's still not too late. If you haven't, go give some kids a toy. Have somebody come to your house for dinner. Because those little things matter.
Absolutely.
And that's Jesus is supposed to be in Christmas.
Absolutely. That's
the love
Christ.
of our fellow human being, opening up our hearts and helping others. So instead of the Rolex or the high-end bag, look out for the people who may not have, right? And open your heart and serve them.
And I think if you need some help with that, just go on your computer and look at your closest church and reach out to them via phone or text or email or whatever, and they'll tell you how they plan on doing that. Because as you said, that's a part of Christianity. That's a part of, giving back and charity and things of that nature. Benevolence is part of most religions, in fact, almost all. And so just reach out, and I'm sure they'll be able to assist you in that. And a small little bit of help, you know what I mean? Something to help. Let me ask you this, because they love vulnerable Tony, right? The subscribers love vulnerable Tony. So like you, it was a lot of Christmas where I got more clothes or functional things than I did, trinkets and whatnot, right? It's like this was time to get up on the winter clothes. We done grew a little bit since the start of school and that kind of deal. What do you recall? You had your brother, you had your sisters. What do you recall as the one gift that you got that just kind of set the stage for your enjoyment as a child?
That's a good question, man. So, I just got finished telling you about a lot of the Christmases that we dealt with. But then there was other, my parents, my mother, it was based on how well things were going in her life. So if things were going well, we had a bunch of shit. Things wasn't. We ain't getting nothing. Right? And I don't want to say we didn't get nothing, but it was pressurized.
Correct.
Right? And but to your question, so there was a couple of Christmases where me and my brother got, and probably we talking, it might seem like nothing today, but we got walkie-talkies.
Okay.
Okay. And, we talking 1972.
Okay. Y'all was junior spies.
Okay. And that was like advanced technology, right? And we had and they probably worked maybe 4 or 5 times.
It was more walkie than
Over.
talkie.
This is Tony calling over, right? Then you hear him, Troy, over. You know what I'm saying? It probably worked a couple times, right? You must have we should have got 2 cups in the string and it probably would have been more effective.
Absolutely.
But we got the walkie-talkies. Right. So that was the thing. The other thing that was cool that we got, this was back in the day, long time. We had the little racing cars on the track.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
the Hot
sir.
Wheels.
Yes,
It wasn't Hot Wheels. It called something else, right? But again, this shit, it only worked for so much, right? On TV, on the commercial, they show shit like, you think shit, you put the shit together and, it worked all now and then. But
did it have like the little gun joint with the electric spark?
Got toys.
Did it have like the little gun with the electric spark, the plastic
No, it
gun?
had the gun. Yeah.
Squeeze it,
but then
go faster.
we squeeze it, but then we got, and then we got what was that? Bro, if you think about it, this is the thing that I was thinking about this the other day, which is the toys that we got when we were kids are banned today. Okay? We could have died.
Yes,
I'm saying people could have became maimed.
That's right. You shoot your eye out. That's right. That's
I remember we got this this helicopter thing that was tied to this thing and it would go around. I mean, and the blade was flying and shit. You know what I'm saying? You could have just cut somebody's eye off, right? Or we had an electric football game, right? Where you plug it in and then and you put the men there.
Does they vibrate?
You put the men on there, and then they move, lock in. Bro, if you poured some water on that shit, we'd be electrocuted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, the toys that they came up with, there was no child safety. All right, none of that. Right? So it's just funny when you think about it, right? And to today, you can't, and rightfully so, it should be. But the toys that we got when we were kids wasn't safe, right? We had it. My sister got an easy bake oven.
Sir.
Right. Yes, and we thought, I mean, and this is how, brother, you think of it, like you see it on TV, like, oh shit, you can make a cake, right? And then when you get it, all it is a light bulb that's inside, that's close. 75 watts. That's close to the food, and that should have cooked. So, but what about you, man? What was significant?
Man,
what do you remember?
First of all, anybody on right now, say what your favorite gift was in the chat so we can talk about you and get the laughter from you like we got from Tony and his. Hands down, man, we was kind of late to the game. My brother and I, he's 2 years younger than me. And my grandma used to put in on stuff. We didn't know it when we were young, but then we grew up and realized, what was going on, right? And so, but my grandma put in on us getting a Nintendo. And we got 2 games, Kung Fu and Mario Brothers. And so we rock, paper, scissors for whose game was whose primarily, because we had to share everything, right? It wasn't no yours and mine and all that and, whatever. But the situation was we got that, and my cousins, they had one. My cousin had an Atari, and all that. So we was always a little bit behind. But boy, you're talking about a hot TV. You talking about, we're talking about tube TVs back then, Tony. You had the audio video jacks you had to plug into that joint. And, you had the UHV and the UHF and all of that. And it was on channel 3. And, man, we used to just sit in front of that Mario Brothers, the original, and just hours and hours and hours. And then, of course, it'd be, no, next time you die, it's my turn. No, they was tripping. No, they And so we got a lot of whoopings for that, them kind of fights, over the game. If y'all argue about that game, I'll make y'all throw it out the window. It was that kind of stuff. But, man, that was probably the pinnacle, because we didn't know how expensive that was at the time. We didn't know. We knew that other kids had them. And we wouldn't really go over other people's house type. I had a lot of boy cousins. So we would go over my cousin's house, and they had all of all the G.I. Joes and the ancillary characters. And
that was a couple. We had a couple of G.I. Joes, right?
And the Transformers, and that kind of stuff.
That was beyond me, the Transformers and stuff. But my girl here, MJA, she says, let me put up what she said. She said, remember the what did she say here? She said, remember the, remember the garbage pail
Oh
kids.
wow, the derivative of the Cabbage Patch. It was garbage.
Yeah, yeah. And she says it gave them character.
That's character,
right?
all right.
You know that's right. And then Gail says Cabbage Patch Doll and the Barbie Dream House.
The whole
right?
house. Okay.
The Dream House. Bro, big money, right?
We were drinking. Beach house.
Yeah. They had the beach house, right? They grew up big money, right? I used to tell Gail she was the Brady Bunch, and my family, we were good times. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then hold on.
Okay.
And then we got the Hess fire truck.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And Connects and Game Boy.
Yeah. Like you said, Tony, I don't know the equation or the dollar value for some of these things. I know it was some toys that we got that we were excited about. It could have been $4. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, it's sometimes just the fact of I wanted that, because you don't equate the finances to it. And your kids shouldn't feel the burden. And that's the sad part. This is why when you help people out, you're absolving their child from knowing the depravity of having that type of burden where I can't get a $20 toy or a $30, little this or that. You know what I mean? And
buddy,
it's different. Like we used to get geeked about going to McDonald's and getting the toy in the Happy Meal or in the cereal, fam. It used to be toys in the cereal. Boy.
That would be the key, the cereal, right? If you got a Cracker Jack in the box. So hold on, my man Tony Jones, he says, what Tony says here? He says, Evil Knievel wind-up jumper and robotic punch-out pop. The heads
the Rock'em Sock'ems.
Okay,
Rock'em Sock'ems.
Buddy, Rock'em Sock'em. That's her. So I think, did we get Rock'em Sock'em one year? I think we got Rock'em Sock'em one year.
Did? Was you the blue or the red?
I remember my boy Evil Knievel. That was my man.
Okay.
All right, Evil Knievel. That dude, so my man, Tony, thanks for bringing that up,
That's
bro.
my brother-in-law's favorite
because
gift
I
ever,
remember
Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel.
That's
right?
his favorite Knievel was the stump bike.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but here's the thing though, bro. When this is the thing, so I'm glad everybody's got their memories and stuff like that, right? But you just said something that's really key here, right? Is that when the family the kids can be kids, right? But when the family is struggling, that struggle don't just stay with the parents. Now the kids can't be kids because now the parents explain, I ain't got this, we got that. And so now they got to grow up a little bit more, right? Because now they got to deal with the economic situation of their parents, right? And I remember years where I just told you some years where it was just horrible, but I remember some years I thought as a kid we were rich, right? Because we had a playground in the back, we had a swing set in the back, and the thing, and this and that, whole 9 yards, right? I just think that we've gone so far that we don't think about those other things, right? And it's important to think about those other things, okay? Because we're sitting here and we're all reminiscing, which is fantastic, right? But like I said, there's people here. There's people that are going to wake up on Christmas Eve tomorrow, and then they're going to Christmas, and then they're going to have a lot to be. They should. And see, that's the thing. It shouldn't be about the gifts, right? Everybody should wake up and still be happy. Hey, this is about Jesus, blah, 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 this and that, right? So... But again, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, and I think you said something that was very poignant in the fact that we used to go to school and we would tell the other kids what we received or didn't receive. But the thing about that time is that at least the other kids in your school was in your same socioeconomic stratosphere, right? So you couldn't say you got a diamond ring and a Rolex and this, that. You would keep it in the same vein of what was applicable for that area, that neighborhood or whatever. Now these kids are comparing their haul to the internet. You know what I'm saying? They looking at what other kids is posting and what people is saying they got, or because you don't know what people taking back. You know what I'm saying? The kids, they taking pictures and stuff, and I got this handbag, and that's been a real big thing recently. I got this handbag, these purses, and
everybody taking pictures,
and all these pictures of bags around the trees. They don't even put the gifts on there no more. It just be bags from places.
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. I'm a cynic when it comes to this. People taking pictures in the department store. And then then they posted it on Christmas morning saying, this is what I got, but they didn't get it. But here, hold on, though. MJA says something I want to put back up because she makes a good point, right? Don't forget about the different religions. Some don't celebrate, and when you're young, it's hard to go to school and say that, right? Okay. And that's an excellent point because here's the thing. You know, look, at the end of the day, you go to school and first thing, what did you get? What did you get? And then there could be kids that don't celebrate Christmas, right? And nobody may not know that. Right. And so it's hard for them to say we don't, you know. I remember we had friends that were Jehovah's Witnesses. And they don't celebrate any holidays. No birthdays. Like, we were like, what? Yeah. We was like, these people crazy.
No celebration in your heart.
All right. So my point is, oh, sorry, that was Gail who was saying that about the people with different religions and stuff of that nature, right? Thanks, Gail. However, we got to recognize that, right? That not everybody celebrates, okay? And that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But those are the dynamics that's thrown in today, right? Let's pivot to this, though, bro. Let's go to the, you know, we're talking about traditions. And so tell me some of the family traditions that you guys had when it came to Christmas.
The things that jump out to me is you could take one toy. So we had Christmas dinner at my grandma's house, okay? And so, you know, my mom got 4 siblings, a lot of family. It was nothing for it to be 50, 60 people at the house on Christmas, you know, Thanksgivings and Christmas. Like my wife, on contrast, it would be 5 or 6 of them. It just seemed quiet and weird. You know, you go over there, it's so solemn because we had kids running around and it's always a new kid and you know, it's just, it's like a small microcosm for a family reunion almost, you know, these holidays. And they'll be making stops, you know, so they'll get there a little late. My family always eats late, you know, that's their thing. And so, you know, it was funny when I first got my wife, I was like, what time are y'all going to be eating Christmas? She was like, probably about 2. like white folks, huh? Y'all eating, get it over with, huh? So y'all get a nap in and get up and eat again. Like we eating that dinner time.
So you for Christmas you guys eat at 2:00? That's
my wife. My wife's yeah. But for us, we say 4, it's 7. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, that's how we get that. And everybody knows it. And then we waiting on the AT's lemon pie because
color people
absolutely,
time.
Man. Absolutely. It is just that's part of it. But one of the things was you could take one toy. You can take one toy. So we would get toys. You can only take one with you because now we showing our cousins what we got.
Correct.
So two things. You can take one toy and you had to wear something you got on Christmas. Until this day, as at this ripe old age, if I get something for Christmas, I'm putting it on Christmas. It's just, I never let go of that.
That makes sense. I mean, but I think that's fair. I think when we were kids, we did the same thing. We would wear our Christmas stuff over. We usually, when I was a kid, we'd go around aunt's house, right? So we would wear our Christmas stuff over. But then if you waste some shit on it, then you got slapped. Okay? Right. So the bottom line is, I just bought those clothes. No ass mayonnaise.
Absolutely.
All right, man. So you would get slapped, right? Here's the other thing, though, bro. So, but I grew up, like I said, in the certain times we would go over family's house, and it was wild because the adults would be upstairs, right? You walk in, everybody would give you a kiss, Merry Christmas. They had mistletoe. Yeah. They would have the mistletoe,
me too,
and everybody kissed.
Me too killed the mistletoe.
All right. I don't. Well, hold on. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. You would have the mistletoe and then kiss, and then the kids. Right. We would be all. I mean, if you had kids run. I mean, let's be clear. I don't want to say running around.
Yes, crazy. Bro, they was running around.
Not in my name, because look, your ass was running around in the basement.
Okay, I'm feeling you.
Okay, your ass wasn't running around through the whole house with the adults around, right? You ran crazy in the basement, right? But my point is, it was a joyous family.
Absolutely.
However, I do remember, man, was this Thanksgiving or was it Christmas? I think look, family is tough, right? Because everybody's joyous, but, a couple spirits come in. Right. And then you see, people like put the knives in the stove. Right. Somebody mad, somebody going off, right? Argument ensues, right? I mean, we didn't see anybody, but those things. And to be fair, probably saw that more around Thanksgiving,
Right? Yeah,
than
Thanksgiving
Christmas,
is
right?
Yeah.
But we didn't have. To be fair, we didn't do Christmas at home all the time. If we went somewhere, we'd be over a relative's house, okay, and but we wouldn't be. Thanksgiving was at the crib,
Right.
Okay. That's why I still host. That's why I love hosting Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And this is the other thing though too, which is new. I want to hear from you guys. So hold on.
Okay.
Mark says
Okay.
here.
That's what's up.
Because Mark, what he said they sent the kids to the park. Okay. I'm telling you, bro, there were no kids running around. I mean, there was a lot of kids, but their ass had to be somewhere separate.
Yeah.
Where the parents and the adults would just go off and have a good
We
time.
didn't have that luxury. Or we didn't have that discipline. Either one. It was just the house was too small or the kids was too plentiful.
I mean,
they was everywhere.
Well, then that's why maybe Mark's house was too small too. That's why they sent them to the
Busting
park.
at the seams.
Right. And matter of fact, where did you grow up? Park, because in the
winter,
the North or the Midwest, ain't nobody going outside. I mean, you may go outside throw a football.
That's right. That's what I was going to tell you. The turkey bowls and
that
whatnot,
would probably
that kind of
be it.
situation.
But you ain't riding you're not on a jungle gym or nothing on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? It's too cold for that. That's cruelty. You go to jail. Send the kids outside in the cold, right? Because you don't want them around in the house, right? But here's the thing. But talk about the family dynamic. One of the things, like I said, my wife Gail has all these trinkets and and again, I give her credit because she really revitalized Christmas for me because it really wasn't my favorite. Just the way I was talked about, the way I grew up, right? However, she brought that back. And then so our tradition as having our own family is that we would go every year and get a live tree, okay?
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
And we get a live tree, bring it back, right? We would go to this place called Jones Farms. The kids, we've been doing this for years since we had kids. And we would go there. I mean, it's on a mountain. It's cold. Right? You can cut the tree down, but I ain't cutting it. Yeah, bro. You can cut down the tree, right? I ain't cutting. I just go there and say, look, bro.
You ain't lumberjacking, Tony? Come on, man.
I'm like, pick that. We pick out which one we want. The dude come and shake it in front of us. And then the girls and Gail, they say, "Oh, this was great. This is not on the yards." Then we go get some hot chocolate, a cider. They have a big bonfire there, right?
It's a whole event,
buddy. It's
a whole event. Packed. Yeah, this is a whole event.
It's a yearly event. You just go there for that, right? You can get a Christmas wreath, and they got wine, and it's really nice. It's a tradition. It's what we've been doing, for years, right? And so, and then we would go Christmas shopping. Me and my daughters went yesterday. We went Christmas shopping, but we go to the mall. But there's nothing at the malls today. Everything is online, and so they complain, and I'm like, but look, now this is me because I'm a sentimentalist. Look. This is our tradition. This is what we've always done. Even if we don't buy nothing, we would go out, we would walk around, look, and what we did yesterday was just really get stocking stuffers and stuff to that nature. And then we would go out and have dinner and hang out. And, that's our family tradition, right? And then the girls, I asked them, Christmas Eve, they would go out and put reindeer dust, seed or some shit or whatever it is, and throw it on the lawn. And, you know what I'm saying? So we got videos of them doing that. I asked them yesterday, are you guys going to do reindeer? So, Madison's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Michaela's like, I ain't doing that, right? But those are the traditions as a family, man. And when you start having those traditions, and that's the thing I didn't have when it came to Christmas. Thanksgiving, we had traditions, right? But when it came to Christmas, because it was up and down, all right? And so it wasn't. But I think those things are important when it comes to family. Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. So we, just like you, live trees all the time, live trees. And so we did that my entire childhood. And it's funny because my 12-year-old, she could never get it from the first place, even though it'd be the perfect, like Tony, the one this year, it was so nice. And she was like, let's go to the next place. Because she, like you and...
You go to different places to get a tree?
She likes to shop around. She likes to source.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? She likes
for a tree?
For a tree, yes. So it's, it's a metro area. So she's always grew up in a big city. So it's different places you can go and see and like, yeah, we can probably do better than that. So
So from the city standpoint, I get
yeah.
that because they're on the corner somewhere, right?
Absolutely. They're everywhere.
Yeah, you got to go to a mountain, right, where there's a million trees. You're going to find a tree, right? That's just the bottom line.
Right. But she had asked me this year, we were kind of later, and she said, do you want to just get because she knows people now that have artificial trees. Do you want to get an artificial tree? And I was like, you could tell me. We can afford whatever you want, but that's my tradition. You got to make Christmas is for children. More often than not, moreover than not, the kids are the primary focus of any family's Christmas. Now, you can't tell me you and Gail don't put the kids first at Christmas. Then y'all figure yourselves out thereafter. But the kids are...
Well, I mean, yeah. But that makes sense. The only way I would disagree with you on is this, and this is where we kind of lost it a little bit as a society.
Okay.
So you're right.
Okay.
That's the primary,
Right.
but it's also about being joyous and thankful and treating your fellow man with love and joy. And people walking around grim.
Yeah.
All right, they just mad at the world, right? And that's where buddy. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's hard to do that when you insert a kid, though, Tony. It's hard to. I don't know the person that's so steadfast in their grimness that you could put some children around them and that energy, and they hold on to it. Kids will break them. They'll break you down at Christmas time. They will break you down.
Did it break the Grinch down?
Yeah, his heart grew.
Remember the little hoodoo. The little hoodoo.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though, bro. Was it Cindy Lou or who? Right, I forget who it was. Right. Here's the thing. I just think that we need to be more friendly to our fellow man, right? Because again, the concept is Jesus. Right? It's a gift, and we need to be. Let me just be on the same page. Kids, I totally
absolutely,
get. But we should be more friendly because I remember places you would walk in and adults. Forget the kid. I'm not talking kids. You would go into places as an adult and people are arms wide out. Merry Christmas! Hey, have a drink. This and that. They're friendly. Hey, buddy, it's this. I'm just telling you, bro. It's just people have been more friendly. They're not as much as they are today.
You know what? Your woke friends have made people afraid to say Merry Christmas, Tony. They make people afraid to give the season's greetings, and now you can't have. You got to have a holiday party. You got to sterilize so much.
So
you know what I'm saying? So you get kind of in a nebulous area where you don't really know how to greet people. Or,
but buddy, I see that. But I get it. So we're talking two different things. I get it. If you don't want to say Merry Christmas, I get that. That doesn't stop you from having a positive attitude. That doesn't stop you from being friendly and open to somebody. You ain't got to say Merry Christmas. You ain't got to say, you can say good morning. You can say, hey, how you doing? Have a great holiday with your family. That's what I'm saying, right? Forget the title. It's just people hearts have hardened a little bit. That's all I'm saying, right? And so to me, that's part of the issue. Right. But I wanted to pivot to something else you had said. Oh, let me ask everybody real quick, because this is the other thing that is key. Now, this was a tradition, and it was more on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to ask you guys, there's two things I'm going to ask you about. I want to hear everybody's thoughts. Number one, favorite Christmas movie that you watch every time on Christmas. Over and over, you can lip sync the script. You know it inside out. And then number two, did you open gifts on Christmas Eve or did you wait to Christmas Day? Why don't you kick it off, bro?
No problem. I don't have a Christmas movie at all. I like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but I can't watch it. My wife doesn't like that.
You don't have a Christmas?
No.
You don't like no Christmas movie?
No, it's Frosty the Snowman. When happy birthday, that old one.
Okay.
That happens every year. That have me and my daughter pick that up.
That counts.
We pick that up. So
what about
30 minutes.
Did you see Heat Miser? What about Heat Miser? I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun. Dun. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. They call me 101.
So we chip into that. You know, the old stuff. She don't like the animation because it's old, right? But we watched that. We watched that Frosty, and then we have always been. My wife is different. We've always been Christmas morning. It ain't no sneaking. Ain't
Christmas
no
morning.
Yeah, ain't no head starts. None of that. Ain't no do it early. I got a buddy As soon as the season is intact, it could be 2 weeks before Christmas. His kids open the stuff. He's like, hey, they know it's for me. No, let me ask you this. But I'm not gonna pivot completely. But was y'all Santa Claus people or not? Because we were Santa kids. We was a Santa Claus house.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, we were Santa Claus.
Man, there's a lot of black folks that be like, I'm not giving that dude no credit. Man, these gifts came from me. These came from daddy. You ain't know nobody like that?
No, my mother, I thought she was joking one time, but she said that. She said, what was that? I think this was beyond, I think we were, in the beginning it was Santa, right? But I think we were a little older, maybe 12, 13, something like that, right? And then she said, what did she say? She said, number one, we ain't had no chimney. Right. And number two, ain't no white man coming around in this neighborhood and gonna drop some gifts off to your ass. So I'm Santa Claus, right? Something to that effect, right? Something to that effect. But we were Santa.
Yeah, we was.
I mean, as far as I remember, man, waking up one morning. I remember waking up one morning. You know, you wake up 3, 4 in the morning. Right. And I was probably 6. Right. And I heard boxes rumbling. Okay. I was like, oh shit, he's here. I was scared to death. Scared to death. Right. So we were Santa people.
Yeah, we was. Me and my brother, you set traps for him and all of that. Funny story. I just found out the Elf on the Shelf thing this year. Never had heard of it before. Never knew nothing about it this year. Grown man. Real time.
So we got elves on the shelves, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I was going to use the bathroom the other day. Elf was sitting on the toilet. I was like, you wasn't kidding me. I got to deal with this shit too, right? So hold on. My man Tony Jones says his favorite movie was A Christmas Story, and then they had cookies and milk left out night before for Santa. Yep, we did that. When we had cookies, we left the shit out, right? And so we opened presents on Christmas morning. Yeah, we were a Christmas morning. Same thing, but I know people. My wife, I think Gail was the first one where they did Christmas Eve. They opened one gift on Christmas Eve.
Okay. Get it. Okay.
Right? One gift. We never opened no gifts on Christmas Eve, right?
It wasn't that many to go around. You messed up the numbers.
You know, buddy, you get one. If that's it, your day the
tomorrow
next day
you got
messed
another
up.
one. Right.
You got one gift. You better hold on to that. Right? Yeah. What did Mark say? No favorite movie. He said no favorite movie. Watch the older claymation movies about years. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but Christmas and so my favorite movie, buddy. I tell everybody this. I still watch it. Who else said this? One gift on Christmas Eve. So one gift on Christmas Eve, you can open one gift.
Cheaters.
No, buddy. I didn't do that, but then when Gail and I started dating and stuff, then we would go over her sister's house and they would bring a gift. Everybody open up one gift.
Is that so you go to sleep pleased? Or what is the point of that? Why can't you just wait one more day?
I don't know, bro. I get it. But you know what? You got to recognize people who celebrate Hanukkah.
Yes.
Isn't it a gift
every
for day?
Every
day they open up a gift, right? So I totally get it, right? But my favorite movie. Hold on. What did Mark say here? He said I opened the GameCube controller and was upset. He just got the controller, right?
Hey,
he thought he was like, bro. I remember this. This was years ago. I'm talking to you. Got me going way back, right? I remember one day we had an attic, and I was up there in the attic, and I, messing around. Shouldn't have been up there. And then I opened the door, and there were like toys in there. I was like, okay. I got my ass beat. What you doing up there?
Stupid. You up there
you doing this and that, right? Just dumb. Right? Just dumb.
Hey, let me tell you what about your mans with the GameCube controller. My wife killed that when we got together because I, too, like to maximize the look of Christmas. So I would wrap a pair of pants and then the top that goes with the pants in separate stuff. She was like, stop doing that shit. Stop. That's all together. That's one gift. Stop making it seem like it's a whole bunch. You just wasting paper and tape and all this. So they got his controller in a separate thing. Then his
Buddy, thank you. Right. That's a big tease right there. Separate controller, right? Matter of fact, you don't even get the game. Right. That's next year. Right. You just got to control. You got to use your imagination. So here's the thing, though. Let me ask everybody this question. Well, real quick. Yeah. My favorite movie is A Wonderful Life. I watch it buddy
Jimmy
loved that
Stewart?
movie.
Is that Jimmy
Cry.
Stewart?
Jimmy
Okay.
Stewart, Cry at the end
Okay.
every year.
Oh, wow.
Just beautiful meaning. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it. You know, my family, they watch Elf and just a million Christmas. Gail and Madison, they watch a million Christmas movies. Same movies over and over again. Know them inside and out. However, let me ask everybody this. Did you ever get a gift from somebody and they gave it to you? You're like, why in the hell did they buy me this? Did you ever, buddy, I remember this was years ago, all right? Years ago, my first marriage, right? And I remember my daughter, my stepdaughter's grandparents, right? They gave me a gift and the shit was like a green tie. I didn't even have a suit. It was just like they just grabbed some shit. We gotta get Tony something.
We had to register.
And it was
that
some
or a
shit you
National
would
Enquirer.
never wear. You would never wear it. It's just like, and they gave it to me on Christmas Day in front of a bunch of people. When I looked at this shit, and you know, what you gonna say? What the fuck is this? Or you gonna, I was like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, it didn't even, it was like, we got to get them something.
Right.
And they gave me that. What about you? Anybody give you something?
You know what came to my mind when you said that, and bless her heart and God rest her soul, my grandmother, my dad's mom, she was always extra, you know, extra protective, and she was a pediatric nurse. And so she always used to get us stuff monogrammed. But we kids, you know what I'm saying? So this is not cool in the hood.
You got to wear it.
This is
you
not
can't
cool.
Walk around with that. They're starting to call you Thurston Howell the Third.
She got me a hooded jean coat with my name on the chest, right? It was like, and I opened that thing and I was like, when I seen the jean coat, I was like, this is cool. And then when I turned it said Chris. And I was like,
it's for you to go take to the Harvard Club. Right?
So that's probably,
maybe she was trying to project, though,
man,
bro. Maybe she was projecting.
She used to do that with everything. We used to get everything she got us, she made sure somebody wouldn't stitch. I don't know if she had a hookup, you know what I'm saying, or a friend, but everything was getting extra customed, and that was just her thing. But you know, early on, it wasn't cool, and of course the kids roasted me. I was so dumb, I forget who I was, and you know all of that.
Yeah, did you wear it again? Oh, bro. Yeah, you done. You done.
So that was probably the
one. Well,
one.
listen, buddy, we got to close,
Okay, cool.
but we want to thank everybody for really participating in today's episode, and we hope that everybody has a great Christmas season. Obviously, we got 2026 coming up. I can't just, when you say the 2026.
Fly by. It was just Y2K.
Oh my God.
Tone, it was just
Bro,
Y2K.
When I was a kid, I was like, I would be this old when the year 2000 come. Now we're in 2026. You kidding me?
Right.
But it's a blessing because every day above ground is a good day, right? So, Chris, final thoughts, my brother.
Oh, just, embrace the season. Understand that this is a time of year where everybody doesn't have the connectivity or the ability to get out. So call your folks, check in on them, even if it's just hey, I'm not trying to keep you long, Merry Christmas, just I want to hear your voice. Do something simple like that. Get a list together, shoot out an email card. It ain't got to be elaborate, but trust me, some of those connections really do matter because some people feel forgotten, completely forgotten at this time of year. And so it might not be something like we just had back and forth where we sparked these old memories and how your sister busted your lip and y'all fell down. But every little bit helps when it's talk about human connection. And this is the time for that. Like Tony said, this is the reason for the season.
Absolutely. And I'll piggyback on that. Let's put the Christ back in Christmas, right? So to your point, go hug somebody. Invite them over. If you know if somebody's going to be by themselves, try to incorporate them into your holiday season, right? And then more importantly, obviously you want to, spend time with your family and you're going to buy them gifts if you can and all that type of stuff. But as you walk the earth with an open heart. Walk the earth with a giving heart, right? And let's treat our fellow man the way we want to be treated. And so let's enjoy. We pray that everyone has a great holiday season. You have a good time with your family. Hopefully you are blessed, not just with gifts, but also their presence, their love, and really spend time with your family now because it's been a long year.
Yes.
Okay. And if any time is the time that to take everything off. If you can, take your shoes off and just enjoy this next 8 days, 7 days of the year with your family. Have a great time. Don't be bitter. Some things may not have went your way. So what? That's fine. But enjoy, be present in the present, and enjoy the holiday season.
Absolutely. Stay safe and all that. So at this time, we want to remind you to check out Need to Know with Nasinga each week. Dr. Nasinga Burton comes on a Black Executive Perspective podcast with her segment, Need to Know. And she dives into timely and crucial topics that shape our community and our world. And I think it's some special one. It's a special one coming up, right, Tony? Need to Know?
Yes, it's going to be a 2025 recap, the best of Need to Know with Dr. Nasinga Burton. So definitely check that out. And look, we don't want you to miss the launch of a mixed executive perspective podcast on a Black Executive Perspective, hosted by Grace Fuden Corey. That's premiering on January 14th, right? This new show explores biracial identity, executive leadership, fear, purpose, belonging, giving voice to perspectives that's too often left unheard. This is going to be honest, thoughtful, and necessary. You don't want to miss it. A mixed executive perspective, January 14th, here on the Black Executive Perspective podcast.
It's going to be amazing. Trust me, I've heard some of the things. It's going to be, man, groundbreaking. So also, we want to make sure that you check out Pull Up, Speak Up. Don't miss the next episode of Pull Up, Speak Up. Our roundtable dives into today's hardest hitting topics. Every voice counts. Every perspective sparks change. And it isn't just talk. It's a call to action. Make sure you tune in to Pull Up, Speak Up.
Absolutely. And this is the time where we ask everyone, and especially now during the Christmas holiday season, we're asking everyone to incorporate our call to action less, LESS. Our goal is to eliminate all forms of discrimination. And to achieve this, we're asking everyone to embrace this important call to action.
And so the L stands for learn. You want to educate yourself on racial, cultural, social, political nuances so you're more informed, so you can go in this world more prepared.
Absolutely. Then after you learn, you have the letter E, which stands for empathy. Now, since you've learned, now you can be more empathetic to the people because now you can put yourself in their shoes.
And the first S stands for share. This is why people love Vulnerable Tony, because he shares his past, he shares his darkest, deepest moments, and reveals some of himself every time. And you guys did that today with your Christmas memories, and we appreciate that sharing, because when we share like that, we learn that we're not really that different. We learned the world is a lot smaller than we intended to be, and we understand and connect with each other. And so that's why you should share.
Absolutely. And then the final S stands for stop. We want everyone to stop discrimination as it walks in your path. And this is going to be so simple. And obviously, as you're sitting with your family for Christmas, for the Christmas dinner, and Uncle Joe or Aunt Jenny says something that's inappropriate at the dinner table, instead of sitting there being shocked or giggling, you say, Aunt Jenny, Uncle Joe, we don't believe that. We don't say that. Merry Christmas, and you stop it right there. So if everyone can incorporate less, LESS, will build a more fair, more understanding world. And guess what? We all will see the change that we want to see, because less will become more.
We're going to end this year strong. We want to make sure you tune into the next episode. We want you to check out our next episode live Tuesday. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Bring your comments, your concerns, and everything, and we're going to get into it. We want you to go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, A Monthly Perspective. Check that out. It's hot every month. It's what you want. And leave us a review and tell us what you'd like to hear about. Make sure you subscribe. And where can they subscribe to us, Tony?
My friend, you can follow a Black Executive Perspective podcast right here on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And don't hesitate to follow us on our social channels of LinkedIn, X, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at a Black Exec. For the co-host with the most, my boy down in hot Dallas in Christmas time, which I can't believe, Chris P. Reed.
Yes, sir.
I'm Tony Tidbit. We talked about it. And here's the one thing I want everyone to know about it. Next week on BEP Live, the final episode of 2025, we're going to dive into the best of a Black executive perspective for 2025. So don't miss it. Be there. But more importantly, be there with your family. Hug them, love you. And guess what? We love you too. And we'll see you next week.
A Black executive perspective.